What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now I am here with Eden. It has been almost a year, actually last 9 months. We just talked about this since he bought this place with the idea of completely renovating this two-family in East Watertown. So I'm gonna hand it right over to Eden. He's gonna give you guys the overview of the scope of work he did at this amazing project, everything he went through. And yeah, let's get at it. So so I guess first, just tell everyone, remind everyone what you bought, the general pricing, and kind of like the idea behind what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so bought this place earlier this year. Like in January, it was a very old two-family rental, and that was also a heritage sale, like a, what they call, sorry, the
estate sale. It was an estate sale.
It was an estate sale, and relatively good price, like price at like higher 800, and and then my plan was to just completely renovate it because it was in a pretty bad state back then, and
it was old. It was really old.
Yeah, and then we would owner occupy the second and third level, and third level was unfinished attic, and then rent out the lower level as a rental unit. Yep.
So like when we walked through the place too, and you remember this, right? Like it was in disastrous shape, right? Like everything, the kitchens and bathrooms were completely shot. Electrical plumbing was like really old. So you basically have to gut rehab the thing in order to bring all the electrical and plumbing up to date, and then just do a whole new, essentially brand new product, right? Open concept everywhere. That's the idea behind the game.
Yep.
So you took about 9 months to do the project. Just tell everyone the scope of this is your first renovation too, right? So
it is.
And we just talked about this before we started shooting. Tell everyone what the experience was like going through the process of getting permits, hiring contractors, managing a full gut rehab. I mean, this is a massive project.
Yeah, so it was a massive project. I think working with Watertown overall, it's a good experience. Yeah. Usually the inspector can come the next day, and even the initial permit took only less than 2 weeks. It was
by the way, that's fast. Rare, right? Because Watertown is nice. If you're doing a project in Boston, don't expect that to happen. My permits get held up for 2 months.
Yeah, so actually got a chance to just get on phone call with a zoning officer in Watertown, explain what I wanted to do. Can I do that? And they show me the related documents to see, if I can do this or that, and it was relatively straightforward on that part. But in hiring the architecture part is tricky because we also redo the third floor, and that requires structural engineering work, and that the turnaround time became much longer. So we closed this property in late January, and back then we already started the kind of architectural kind of design process, but then it took us 4 months to actually start the work. So that's something that's good to know. You need to leave even more time for those design and architectural planning work.
So when you do a full renovation like this, right? This is not just a kitchen and bath job. When you're doing a full gut rehab, it's not like you just waltz down to City Hall, say, hey, I'm doing this project, and you can start construction the next day, right? You need full architectural plans, structural engineering. You need to get a survey, right? You did a survey. Then you submit that to the town. The town then typically takes X amount of time to review. Some towns are faster than others, right? So it actually, and I remember we talked this through, right? The town had some feedback. They ask you some questions.
For instance, with the attic space, they have pretty strict laws in terms of certain percentage of square footage that you can complete, or certain square footage that you cannot exceed, and certain percentage you cannot exceed as finished space, just so that this is actually 2.5 stories instead of 3-4 stories. So things like that, and then pretty strict regulations in terms of the slope pitch. So that really prohibit us from actually finishing most of the space on third floor. So we had to find some creative way to do that.
Yeah. So those are the things you're gonna those are a lot of the challenges you have to work through when you're doing a full gut, right? So it's again, it's not like finish, close, hire contractors, start work, right? The town's very heavily involved with you. They need to obviously approve everything, make sure everything looks good with them before they issue you the building permit. And then talk about a little bit the actual construction process, right? Like you finally get your permits, you hire your general contractor.
Yep. So I talked to a few general contractors, and back then, everyone was super busy, and so I ended up picking a general contractor that doesn't have tons of experience, but I do see that he's really responsive. He gave relatively good price as well, so it's almost like a learning process together.
Yeah.
So I took some risk, but then I'm glad that it turned out okay.
Yeah. And how did it go? Like, just describe the experience, right? Like, I know we were talking about like you get phone calls all the time, right? You always have to like adjust, right? Especially on guts, right? There's just so many moving pieces between like structural, plumbing, electrical.
So one thing I learned is all the architectural planning, they might have a lot of just mistakes, or or
that happens a lot.
That happens a lot. Like say initially this place is a washer and dryer and a laundry, but then after tearing down the wall space, that's just not enough, and things like that, or just the measurement doesn't work, or there is an extra beam here that we cannot move, and things like that. So it was tricky. There were a lot of like really fast decisions that has to be made, and then the GC they're only responsible for implementation. So for me, it's like I just had to make some decisions quickly, because especially at the beginning stage, like framing, like if that takes you like a few days to make certain decision, there's just going to be additional costs, and
and usually like one decision will affect the other, right? Like if you frame a roof, if you decide to change the framing one way versus another, it can impact like your plumbing or your electrical and your design, right?
And also with like window treatment, for instance, initially that wasn't in the scope, like changing all the windows, but then part of the scope is adding some new windows. But then after adding new windows, the old window doesn't look good, and the frames they don't match. So we just decided to change all the windows. But then before then, we actually did the framing for the windows, because all the old windows didn't comply with the framing, like the window code. So then we ended up not changing the layout of the window, because since we just did the framing but that was sort of an earlier mistake, because then we realized some windows can be a lot more efficient if you just change the layout and kind of forget about the sunk cost. So that's the sunk costs are always things that you have to be careful. Like in the construction, sometimes it's better to just tear down what you did. Will be better return in the long run. Yeah,
you can see it's a lot of factors, right? It's a lot of factors of balancing out, like making a lot of decisions and making sure that one decision doesn't adversely impact the next, right? I mean, honestly, if you're doing any sort of renovation, right? Like even when I do like kitchen or bath jobs, right? Like you still have to make a lot of these decisions, but when you're doing a gut rehab, there's just a lot more variables at play, right? Now, in terms of total cost, again, roughly, just so the viewers have an idea. So you gutted the building. It ended up being, we talked about 2,500 square feet or so, right? 2,600 square feet. So you have and we'll walk through the building and you guys will see it, but you basically have a unit on the first floor and then a bi-level unit on the second and third floor. Roughly, how much did the cost, what was the approximate cost, and how did that and give us some numbers, like what do you think the building's worth?
My initial budget was around like low 400. But then adding all the landscaping and additional kind of windows and that all the additional costs will probably exceed it. It becomes like low 500.
So you're about 15% over budget, which is honestly, 15% sounds like a big number, but most construction jobs, we typically budget about 10 to 15% contingencies. So it's right within contingency line. And what do you think the building is worth now in the back end?
I think, so we have 2 units here, so lower level, kind of 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. So, Right now the condo market is kind of soft, but I think in general around like 700 would be probably make sense, because the rent wise it's probably around like 3,500 to 4,000.
And the top unit?
And top unit, I would say like probably mid 900s, and so in total about
1.65.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, right? 1.65. So you bought it for, it was like, I think we bought for what, 880? I think that was the price, 890, something like that.
Yeah, around 900.
Around 900. You put in, let's say 500, 1.4. So your cost base is 1.4 and the building's worth 1.65.
Yeah, but there's some additional like soft costs.
There's soft costs, right?
Engineering, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So.
Let's say, so you probably created around 150 to maybe $200,000 worth of equity?
Yeah, a little bit less than that.
Okay.
Maybe around 100, yeah. But there's also, you know, it like when you sell it, there's some transaction costs.
Right.
So I guess it's you know, first time doing this.
Yeah.
A lot of cost controls are you know, kind of are tricky, but yeah, overall I think at least it can probably break even on this, and that since I'm owner occupying the second floor unit and adding some customization, that's fine for me.
Yep. So with that, I mean, he created a sick owner's unit. Why don't we go inside and check some of the units out?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right, so we are in the units now. This is the first floor unit, so this is not the owner's unit. So let's go, we want to show you guys around. Eden, let's go through it.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So on the right hand side, so this is the first bedroom. It has, you know, it's pretty square and has a small walk-in closet. I mean, yeah, it's technically a small closet. Yeah, it has the central AC throughout the unit.
Yeah, both units have central air, central heat.
Yep.
So it came out really nice. Let's go into the main space, because I really like the way this came out. So it's like an open concept living with kitchen, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So the living area, and dining, and kitchen. What I like about this unit is it has tons of cabinets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is a ton of cabinets for like a smaller unit. I mean, you've got all this space here, you've got wall cabinets here. It just feels like a ton of space, which is no one ever complains about.
Yep.
And the living space is nice. You have nice recessed lighting in your living space. Really like how the unit came out here.
Yeah, and it also has a porch that's technically, you know, the private porch unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can walk out later. And this is sort of the main bedroom of this unit. As you can see, it's, you know, pretty efficient layout, but has
an ensuite.
Yeah, has an ensuite.
Ensuite came out awesome.
Yeah, ensuite bathroom, and also a walk-in closet as well, and also a
nice walk-in closet.
Walk-in closet.
Yeah, so this came out really nice, right? And especially if you're going to use this as a rental unit, like, tenants are going to absolutely love having bedroom with an ensuite, goes right into your open space. You have another full bathroom. It's a really well laid out unit.
Yeah.
And then there's one more bedroom in the back here. All right, so now we're gonna go into the actual owner's unit. And again, guys, this is my favorite unit. This looks awesome. So we're in the owner's unit now. Welcome in here. It feels a little bit different. And one of my favorite parts personally that you did is you opened up this whole space. You've got huge skylights.
Yeah, that was my kind of last minute change of mind in design. And it's funny that, so in the last minute, even we were almost ready to submit the permit application, and I just had this idea to tear down the floor and make this a loftus design. And then I literally just I just grabbed the files that my architect sent me and went through Autodesk and made some changes on my own and sent that proposal to architect and then make his life easier as well to kind of visualize what I wanted to do. So that's also something I learned. Like if you want to push this forward, you
you got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah, you got to push it through. Yeah,
because
because originally this was all a third floor attic, right? So there was like literally a ceiling above us right here. So it was not like this open. You created.
It was like lower level.
Yeah, exactly. It was very much like the lower level. So you essentially demoed the attic floor above you, creating this huge concept, which I think is so cool. Like, not a lot of units do that, and it makes this unit really stand out.
Yeah.
The kitchen also came out amazing. I was telling you, I think this is one of the biggest islands I've seen in a long time. The island is huge. I mean, it's awesome. You can put so many things on it. And I love the finishes that came out too.
Yeah, because we don't, another reason I chose a large island is we don't have many wall space, as you can see. So you can see like we try to squeeze in like as many drawers here.
Yeah, you have a lot of extra drawers.
Like a drawer, microwave. I like it because it's the same item from my old place, and then on the other side of the island, there's also some.
Yeah, you have more cabinet space.
More cabinet space here to store some large pots or just as a kind of pantry.
Yeah.
And here it's not furnished yet, but we'll probably just put a small dining table.
Yep, you got plenty of room. This is awesome.
That kind of stuff, and yeah. And then this is,
we're
using it as a ensuite kind of gas suite. Also, not quite furnished yet, but you get a sense. So, in the bed and some media station and shelves, and then the master ensuite bathroom here.
Yeah, and the ensuite here looks awesome too. Really large, double vanity. I mean, it looks great. So let's go upstairs. There is one exterior deck right here, but we're gonna show you the deck off the master. It's got some killer Boston views. One of my favorite decks I've seen in a while. There is another bedroom here too. So this is a 3-bedroom. Yeah. We'll show that to you guys real quick with a full bath right to the side. And a good sized bedroom, kind of flex almost office space. So this came out really nice. But yeah, I want to show you guys that the master. I mean, it is an awesome master. Converted from the attic. It just came out. I think you did an amazing job with it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so previously the third floor is just completely unfinished attic. It was used as storage. There was no dormer or anything. So now it becomes a master suite, and you can see if you turn around the view from here, and in the summer all the sunshine just pass through all the windows, and it just feels pretty lofted, literally.
Yeah, very lofted.
Yep.
But yeah, that's and it leads right into the master. So you can basically converted this whole attic into a full master suite, which is so cool. And you can see you've got pretty good ceiling height. You've got an ensuite here as well, plus an additional office space. I mean, you really utilized all the square footage here.
Yeah.
I love the tile you used in the master.
Yep. I had the skylight in the master ensuite, and I also like the tiles. All the tiles are from local tire shop. And this is sort of a
little. I like this little office cubicle
meditation
here.
Space.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, this is just awesome square footage. And the meditation space, I like that. You got the little light here.
Yeah. So originally, in the last video, we took a quick shot of this window. And,
that's right.
Yeah, when we first did the tour for this place. I immediately had this idea of just somehow taking advantage of the view from here.
Yep.
As you can see.
And we'll show that when we go to the deck itself. It's absolutely killer views.
Yeah. So that's why we put like
you utilize this. I love this.
Readings and.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So let's actually show them that deck, because like I said, it's probably one of my favorite decks. So it's cool because it's right off the master. You can put some chairs here. You walk out, and you just have unreal skyline views. Unbelievable skyline views.
Yep.
Especially in the summer, like you wake up, get a little coffee here, sit down.
Technically, in the winter, you can put like an igloo.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's outlets here, so maybe a heat pumps and an igloo make it more like a restaurant space, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just awesome outdoor space. I mean, again, you wouldn't expect to get downtown views in Watertown, but on this property, that's one of the first things we saw, I remember. Last thing I want to show everyone here is the back of the lot too. I know Eden, you mentioned you were doing some additional landscaping work. You don't always plan on these things, but you sometimes have to, so you repave the driveway, you did retaining wall work. I mean, it's extra cost, but it came out looking amazing.
And also, the reason I designed this backyard this way is that it is a two-family, so it could, have a couple cars and maybe some visitors. So we need some space for parking, and actually Watertown has like no overnight parking.
Yeah, that's right.
So that even
you got plenty of parking for both units. They don't have to stress out about it. You got a huge patio if you're having a ton of people over. You got your own deck space if it's just you. I mean, it really hits all the check boxes. I mean, it really is an amazing property that you put together. So that's really it, guys. I mean, we hope you guys enjoyed this tour. This is, again, Eden's project in Watertown. He crushed this two-family. It's not an easy job, right? It's a lot harder than most people make it look. It's not as easy as HGTV. There's so many floating variables, floating costs, but the end product is always worth it. And I mean, you're gonna own this for a while, right? You're not selling this tomorrow. So the market's, even though it's soft today, I mean, we all believe that Boston's gonna rebound.
And another reason I did a two-family is that it's for personal use. Like, we're thinking of having kids and maybe having more family visits or back then. And then if that happened, then the lower level can just be turned to like sort of a extended family use. So it gives us more flexibility, compared to getting another lot.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, I mean, you can make the property fit your needs. So that's really cool component of it. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this tour. Hopefully you learned if you're thinking about renovating a property. There's obviously a lot more components that go into it than meets the eye. But hopefully this is helpful, guys. Of course, as always, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one.